Good morning, everyone. Because all the presenters are here, I think we are able to start right away. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to room 2 of Parallel Session 1 of LLTC 2022. My name is Maria, and I will be the PIC of this room. I will also act as the timekeeper and will be reminding the presenter verbally 2 minutes before the time is up. In this parallel session, each team will have 15 minutes to present and 5 minutes for Q&A. Each presentation will be moderated by the next presenter. Without further ado, let us begin with the first presentation by Mr. Cahya Pratama Windianto and Ms. Esther Deborah Kalausarang, which will be moderated by Ms. Tri. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Maria Pascalia. Okay, let me introduce myself. My name is Tri Pujiani. I'm from Universitas Harapan Bangsa Purwokerto. And here I will be the moderator for Mr. Cahya Pratama. And what is it? Let me check the program book, yeah. Mr. Cahya Pratama Widianto and Esther Deborah Kalauserang. Okay. Yeah, actually, this is a surprise for me. I don't realize that I will be the moderator in this session because I usually called Annie, not Tri. So I don't realize that Tri is my nickname. Okay. Yeah. All right. So Cahya and Miss Esther, are you ready for the presentation? Okay, so let's just start the presentation. The screen is yours, and we will have a question and answer for 5 minutes after the presentation. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Bu Ani, for moderating this first presentation. And welcome. This is the first presentation, and there will be 2 speakers here. Oh, by the way, Bu Ani, can you hear my voice? Just making sure if my voice not really that clear.
Yeah. It's clear.
Okay, thank you very much, Bu Ani. Yes. Um, so there will be 2 speakers here. The first one is me, Cahya Pratama Windianto, and I'm actually a preschool teacher, and I'm working in a technology-based education company. It's called Cakap. Maybe Papa or Ibu here have ever heard that company before. And the next speaker is actually my girlfriend and also my partner. Esther, would you like to introduce yourself maybe?
Yeah, okay. Is my voice audible?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, okay. So my name is Esther, and I'm also working as a history teacher and language arts. And I'm currently taking literature at Kajian Bahasa Inggris Sanata Dharma English Language Studies program. So today I'm here to learn, although I'm not from education stream, but I think it's beneficial for us today to learn the interdisciplinary because we're now and the postmodern era. Okay, so go ahead.
All right, thank you, Mbak Esther. So, as we can see here, the title is Valuing Morally, and Esther circle the phrase valuing morally there because, yeah, that will be one of the focuses today. So, valuing morally, what students can do by analyzing the deeper features of their writings. Once again, that is the title. And um, in my opinion, this presentation will not be very complicated yet because we are only going to focus on very, very simple explanations. And maybe this presentation will be strongly related to not the theoretical aspect, but more or less like our experience as a teacher. And we are inviting Bapak Ibu to share our experience also as a teacher and as a lecturer, for example. So these are some keywords that we have. And let's go to the next slide then. So the next slide is we are going, oh, I do apologize. So the flow of the discussion is, yeah, we are going to introduce the background of the problems and also the theories that we use. And then the second one is we are going to briefly talk about the methodology and then results and discussion, conclusion and references. All right, without further ado, let's go to the first part, which is the introduction. So as we can see, ya, Bapak and Ibu, ya, in this modern era, there are so many people who feel depression in their life. They feel empty. They don't know who they are, what they can do. They feel useless in the world. And yeah, maybe even us, maybe we are a depressed individuals right now, right? And one of the reasons is because we are rarely valued or we are rarely loved by our community. Vice versa, our community, our friends, or maybe even our parents often blame us because we made or we make mistakes in our life. If we remember when we were students, for example, or when we are, maybe we are still students right now, when we were or we are a student, when we make mistakes, instead of being, oh, it's a good part, it's a good project, you can do A, B, C, D, E. Our teachers blame us because what kind of mistake that is? You should not do that. Repeat that until you can make it perfect. At least that's what Esther and I experienced, and also what our friends experienced back when we were child like that. And this is very bad because it can devalue our students and they will feel useless in the future. And yeah, they will feel depressed. And what we can do as a teacher, actually we can value them morally. And valuing morally is we understand that our student is a pure human beings. Pure human beings means that they make mistakes, they make errors, and making mistake and making error is not a mistake or an error. So it's a part of a progress. It's a puzzle piece to show that they learn something and they attempt to do something. And we can apply this for our young students, for example, because Esther and I are a teacher for young learners, and we apply this so that our lovely students can love themselves because we already teach them how to value themselves. And in the future, it hopes that they can become a caring individual and having lots of caring individuals with lots of love in this life can make our world better, right? And would you like to share your opinion, maybe, Esther, before I talk about deeper features?
Yeah. About valuing morally, I think it's very what a challenging thing for Asian teachers to do. Yeah, because we are so used to the culture of criticizing, especially most Asian countries have been colonized. So, in my opinion, as a literature student, I was contemplating, oh, is this colonial mentality that we have? Because we're used to being colonized, right? And when teacher criticize student, they feel powerful. They feel like, oh, I'm the boss here. But I think the goal of education is to make our students better than us. They can excel better. And in valuing morally, I think this is one of the best ways for us to make a really good and safe environment for our students, especially when we are focusing on their language fluency and they can give a better confidence in learning language. Yeah, so I agree with Mr. Cahyanto. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And we can do that by applying deeper features. And deeper features is actually one of the assessment rubrics that is widely used in New Zealand. And I do apologize, I put my volume very low. I didn't realize that. Thank you for, I forget Bu siapa ya. Thank you for knowing me.
Bu
Thank you very
Rani.
much. Yes, thank you, Bu. All right, so let me show you this one, deeper features, right? So we have lots of things here. So this is deeper features. So uh, it helps us to understand what level our student currently is. So because the time is limited, I'm not going to show it in detail. Maybe Bapak Ibu can see this in person or ask me for the further in explanation after this. Now, let's go to this one. The methodology. So yes, it's descriptive qualitative. We don't deal with the numerical based data. We talk about the students writing and we describe them in detail textually. And the source is the students writing. That's the data. And we collect it by doing the natural observation. If we conduct the structured observation, they will be moody. They will not follow the instruction. And there are 2 elementary school students here that involved in this uh, process here. And the results and the discussion. Let's talk about the context of the teaching. The first one is the student number one. So student number one is we conduct the observation on May 4th, 2022. And the topic is about animals and their body parts and also their habits. And as a teacher, we welcome the student to share his knowledge about animals around him. And the writing here is conducted at the end of the learning session. If we talk about teaching learning cycle, it's during the independent construction. And we discuss the writing and we ask so many opinions from the student. And we're not going to talk about the flow of the teaching because it's going to take lots of time. But anyway, this is the result of what my lovely student wrote at the time. This is Piggy Pig, he is it carrot, and so on and so forth. Right. And the interpretation is this is Piggy the pig, he eats carrot, sleeps in the mud. Piggy loves to go to KFC, such a lovely pig. He loves dancing and he is 10 years old. Well, at first, maybe we are going to say that, oh, there are lots of error and mistake in terms of grammar here. Oh, he needs to revise it, I need to work more. But by using deeper features, we can understand that the audience purpose, the student is able to write simple explanation and he even add a picture to gain interest. So as we can see here, there is a picture of a pig. It helps me as a reader to, oh, this is interesting. What a lovely explanation. And as we can see, it's a very simple explanation about the pig, his habit, and so on and so forth. Good. And the content idea. The student is able to write simple ideas. As we can see here, he introduced that this is Piggy the pig, and then it tells that, oh, he loves to eat carrot and go to KFC. It's a very simple idea. That's it. And after that, this one, the structural level, he mainly use simple sentences. As we can see here, this is Piggy pig, like that. And the language level, well, he relies on this imagination, right? So pig doesn't go to KFC here, but he tries to connect the idea by using imagination to bring a story here. Good. It's a good way to help him. And next, computer language. Uh,
During the independent construction. So yeah, that's the flow of the teaching. And this is the result by Misael about Jojo Bear. I'm Jojo Bear. I'm angry karena go to school. I wake up morning every day. No. So the teacher's interpretation will be, I am Jojo Bear. I am angry because I go to school. I wake up in the morning every day. No. Okay. So what can be inferred from the student's work is, in terms of the audience purpose, the student is able to write with clarity immediately. The readers know who the student is talking about, right? And in the next aspect, which is the content ideas, the student is able to formulate and convey simple ideas with reasons or opinions. It's very obvious when the students say the Jojo Bear doesn't like to go to school because he has to wake up early, right? So he has a strong basis for his opinion, and he also used simple and compound sentences in terms of the structure level. He also used the word karena, which is like for the feature of compound sentence, right? Which is very good for his level. And then he also extends the usage of key topic appropriate words along with high frequency words. So the student is able to find relevant words which is related to Jojo Bear, yeah, like school, wake up morning, every day. So those things are related to what he's talking about. What the student needs to improve is, in terms of audience purpose, the student is encouraged to explain a selected phenomenon instead of personal one by showing awareness of the audience and start using figurative language. In terms of idea, the student is encouraged to include subjective ideas, data, reason, or opinions, And the structure, the student is encouraged to begin writing with definition or description of the topic and using simple sentences with variations at the beginning. And lastly, in terms of language, the student is encouraged to include more topic-related vocabularies and use language features of explanation and arguments. So through the deeper features, we can conclude so many things that we might not see when we use criticism. Yeah. Okay. Maybe Mr. Cahya can explain this part.
Yes, so the last one is that by using the deeper features instead of only focusing on what they cannot do, for example, oh, Misael, why do you still use karena? Karena here, it's bad. But we see that as, oh, it's a way for him to attempt the acquisition, and it's good way. And we can focus on what he has to do next, something like that. And the last one is on the suggestion for further researches, yeah. For the next research, maybe we can try to conduct a research about a student perception after being valued morally, especially the quantitative research. Yeah. So, or maybe we can conduct a case study, for example. So we are going to compare how
2
the students
minutes.
feel. All right. Thank you. So we can understand how the students feel after we value them morally, whether the students enjoy that way or maybe does it bring a certain value in their life. But in our case, with our two lovely students, they enjoy when we value them morally because, as we said before, we don't focus on the mistakes. It doesn't mean that we don't care with the mistakes, but we see the mistakes as a part of learning, like that. And yeah, they gave the testimony like, oh, I like when Miss Esther and Mr. Cahya do it this way because you guys are not angry, not like my English teachers in my school. He or she is very, very angry every day. And even he brings a ruler when I cannot make simple sentences like that. So thank you, yeah, Mr. Cahya and Miss Esther. So yeah, like that. I mean, I I have an assumption that it will help for a huge number of students out there. And that's it, Bu, Maria, and all audiences here. Thank you very much. And I invite questions or discussion or sharing opinions related to this or something like that. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Cahya and Miss Esther, for the very insightful presentation. It's very interesting about the practice of teaching English for young learners. Okay, because young learners very unique, yeah,
Yes.
with different characteristics. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, is there anyone here want to ask question? Please raise your hand or just unmute your microphone.
Bu Maria, well, we have the same name. So it seems like I'm calling myself. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Now the moderator is Bu Ani. Bu Maria is the what is it? PIC of the room. Sorry.
Okay, just go on, Bu Maria.
Yeah,
just
okay.
go on.
Okay. Well, the questions that I will raise is focusing on the assessment itself. So I am interested in the other parts instead of just the language, content, I mean, vocabulary, selection, and so on. That's will always be the central part of VRS like the teachers, whether we teach young learners, secondary level students, higher, and so on. And so the way how you report later on the final report or maybe daily report to the parents is you're focusing on the what is it, the other feature instead of the language. So you present it like 50%, 50%. This is the progress, this is the deeper feature, and so on. And this part is the language part itself, or you may have different way of presenting the report, Mr. Cahya and Miss Deborah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Bu Maria. So first of all, I'm glad, yeah, Bu Maria, because where I'm working right now, the company allows me to, apply this kind of assessment. And I introduced them about this kind of assessment, and they said, oh, it's good. Yeah, we value them. So no more depression people in the future, hopefully, like that. And actually, Bu Maria, yeah, the way I present the progress, especially to parents, yeah, at the end of the semester, for example, or during the formative summative assessment, is for the parents. In my personal words, I don't use these technical terms, yeah, Bu Maria. Yeah, for example, let's go to here, Bu Maria. Where is it? Yeah. Oh, it's still way to go. Nah, here, Bu Maria. So, I don't present the parents about the audience purpose, the content ideas. So in my own words, in my own movement, quote unquote, I conclude and I compile all of them. Like, so from understanding the audience purpose, content idea, structure, language, what simple conclusion that I can give to the parents. So like, for example, if the parents ask, oh, so Mr. Cahya, what my lovely child, how's my lovely child English been doing? And I said that, oh, he can, he can draw, Pa or Bu, because drawing gives better visualization with context. And then, but I don't
2
say that it's
minutes.
part of I didn't purpose, something like that. And structure, oh, he can make simple sentences and he used Indonesian to connect the sentences. It's good, yeah, Bapak Ibu. So don't be angry if he says that. It's good because it's part of learning. It helps him to get better understanding how to use the language and how to acquire it, something like that. But between teachers, yeah, Bu Maria, yeah, between teachers, we still use this kind of details or words as a part of understanding each other students, something like that. Yeah, whether or not it's answering your question, that's what I can understand, Bu Maria, like that. Esther, would you like to add something maybe based on your experience in JPA?
Yeah, I work in Jogja Pathway Academy and they allow that kind of assessment. So teachers are encouraged to write in an encouraging way. So we use the sandwich method, like the improvements that they made, and in the middle is like what are the things need to be improved. And we don't say dia belum bisa ini, dia belum bisa ini, but we can say I believe he can excel more by blah 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 like that. Then we close it again with the praise report of the student. So in my context, it's like that. Yeah.
Thank you, Esther. That's it, Bu Maria. Any more questions maybe?
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Bu Maria. Bu Ani, we still have one question. Yeah, seems like Bu Ani in the chat. Yeah, but do we
Yeah.
still have time, Bu Ani?
Okay, so I need to ask to the, what is it, the facilitator in this room, Miss Maria, is it possible
Yeah.
to add one more question?
I think we still have one for only one.
Okay, so
Okay.
I'll read the question from the chat box, yeah. This is from Ika Sastrawati. How to make a young learner like my son, who is about 5 years, interested to study English. When he was about 2 to 3 years, he knew so many vocabularies, but now he seems to forget it. Okay, that's all.
Thank you, yeah, Bu Ika. Yeah, first of all, I haven't managed yet, so I don't have a child right now. But maybe I'm going to share based on my experience as a preschool teacher, yeah, Bu Ika. Yeah, so my lovely students, they love to watch YouTube, yeah, Bu Ika. Yeah, and in YouTube there are so many videos in English actually, especially related to games, yeah. And this is related to Pak Willy's explanation about extensive reading and
Yeah.
extensive viewing, yeah, Bu Ika. Yeah. So they enjoy what they watch, they like it, and they watch it every day, right? Without any pressure from the teacher, from other parents, right? And they ask me like, Mr. Cahya, oh, I watch this, loh, Minecraft, or I watch this YouTuber. Oh yeah, tell me, what do you know about him? So this YouTuber is making blah 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 blah. Woo, nonstop like dalang, right, Bu Ika? Yeah. So I'm happy to see that, yeah, because okay, so you also learn it from YouTube, and there are some students who share, oh, I read Cinderella, Mr.
Minutes.
Cahya, like that. So that's it, Bu Ika. Esther, anything to add as a
Yeah.
literature lecturer?
I think this the teacher or the parent should give the first example because
Mm-mm.
when we were participating in Dr. Willy Renandian's talk last time, the way the teacher or parent can build the atmosphere to love learning is by showing it firsthand without even telling them to do. So when I say to my students, I really enjoy this book, their love of reading and learning about those things start to grow. So I think, yeah, that's what I can give.
Bravo, Ray.
Yeah.
That's it, Bu Ika and Bu Ani. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so I think the time's over for the first presentation. Is it right, Miss Maria?
Yes, that's right. Bu.
All right. Yeah. Before I close this presentation, Mr. Cahya, I just put my contact privately to you in the chat box.
Oh
Yeah, because
yeah.
yeah, I did in English education department, and there is a TEYL course. Yeah, I teaching English for young learners also. Maybe sometimes we can have a collaboration. For example, I can invite you to be a guest lecturer in my class to give your experience about teaching English for young learners. So just feel free to contact me, and then we
Thank you
can
very
discuss
much,
further
Bu.
about this.
I'm blushing right now, Bu Ani. Thank you very
Okay.
much, Bu Ani.
All right. So yeah, thank you for a very nice discussion, and I'll give the time back to the facilitator, Miss Maria, to continue to the next presentation, which is mine.
Okay, thank you very much for the insightful discussion. Now let us move to the next presentation, which will delivered by Ms. Tri Pujani and also Ms. Ida Dian Sukmawati and Ms. Nunun Indrasari, which will be moderated by Mr. Cahya. Time is yours.
All right, so welcome back with me, but as the moderator in the second presentation. And we have the second presentation, we have Bu Ani as the first writer, yeah, Bu Ani, yeah, and then Bu Ida Dian Sukmawati and also Bu Nunun Indrasari here. And the interesting presentation is about teachers' perception on their readiness toward the new paradigm of English language teaching. All right. So this is interesting topic, yeah, especially during the post-pandemic situation. Oh, we still have pandemic actually, yeah. Online teaching learning session, Zoom, and so on and so forth. All right, Bu Ani, time is yours and Zoom is yours to present your beautiful ideas.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much for the chance. Yeah, I hope the topic will be interested, yeah, because this is about our experience as a teacher or lecturer. Yes, some of my respondents are teachers and some of them are lecturers. We share our ideas about the current practice of English language teaching. But actually, I prepare my presentation in the form of video. Yeah, so I just recorded my presentation, and here I will present it myself on behalf of my team because they cannot join here. Yeah, we have different, job desk in this research, yeah, and then me as the first researcher have the duty to present the result to you. Okay, so let me share the screen. Okay, let me check first about the video and also the audio.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay. Is that clear and audible?
Yes.
Crystal clear, Bu.
Okay. Yeah, actually it is about 18 minutes. Yeah, so if the time's up, just interrupt me and I'll stop the video. I can continue the presentation directly.
Introduce myself. I'm Tri Pujiani. I'm from Universitas Harapan Bangsa Purwokerto. On behalf of my team, here I'd like to present the result of our study entitled Teachers' Readiness Toward the New Paradigm of English Language Teaching. Yeah, this is a narrative inquiry research. Actually, this is the result of discussion between me and some of my colleagues about the current practice of ELT. And then we put it in this paper. Okay, without any further ado, let me start my presentation. Well, in this presentation, I'll explore the teacher's perception toward the new paradigms in ELT and elaborate the current trends in the practice of ELT. Okay, I'll start from the notion that English is a lingua franca. As we all know, that lingua franca is a common language serving as a regular means of communication. English increased dramatically. People learn English for many purposes. Some of them are to be able to communicate, to enlarge networking, and to improve the quality of life, such as to get scholarship or to get a certain job. And many other reasons focusing on the practical use of English. This is a real phenomenon showing that people learn English as a means of communication, not as subject matter to be mastered. This paradigm shift leads to the new trends in English language teaching. Okay, on the previous slide, we talked about the purpose of people learning English. And this purpose usually influenced by the situation at that time. Actually, since a long time ago, the methodology of ELT has continuously reformed depending on the condition and the needs of learning English. And following is the brief history of language teaching methodology. I'll start from the 19th century. In this century, the standard way of studying foreign language was influenced by the approach of studying Latin. A typical textbook used consisted chapters organized around grammar points. That's why this is called grammar translation method. And then in the mid of 19th century, emerged a reform movement that argued that foreign language should be taught like first language without translation or the use of native language. This method is called direct method. And then a significant change happened during the 20th century. The teaching paradigm fluctuated between accuracy versus fluency versus integrated skills, the teacher-centered versus the student-centered, and so on. The teaching methodology emerged during this era where audiolingual, the silent way, the suggestopedia, the total physical response, the community language learning, and so on. But I don't think that I need to explain detail about this. Let's go to the beginning of the 21st century. In the beginning of the century, the language teaching practice becomes more student-centered and puts the role of teacher as facilitator and involves four skills called 21st century skills, namely cognitive skills, intrapersonal skills, interpersonal skills, and technical skills. Some teaching methods in this era are contextual teaching and learning, cooperative learning, the collaborative learning, problem-based learning, and project-based learning, and so on. Talking about effective effect, but the rapid change in the education system also gave new insight on education in the digital era. And here are some advantages of the advanced technology in education. The first, it promotes the efficacy and quality of teaching. Second, it promotes interaction between teachers and students. And third, it equips the course content with flexibility. And fourth, it enhances students' understanding. Fifth, it promotes autonomous learning. And sixth, it enhances the students' interest and motivation. Learner autonomy refers to the principle that learners should take an increasing amount of responsibility for what they learn and how they learn it. However, there's a misconception here that learner autonomy is synonymous with self-access learning or independent learning. Yeah, in my opinion, since the ability to take responsibility of one's own learning is not innate, but rather needs to be taught, there would be a great need for guidance of students when they want to be an autonomous learner. And based on the result of the interview, teachers have tried to promote autonomous learning by reducing their domination in the classroom and more focusing on students' active participation. Then, to facilitate self-learning, the teachers usually share the soft file or printout of the materials and also some references like ebook, website, YouTube channel, and so on. However, the main problems in motivating this autonomous learner is from the student's mindset that English is difficult, and then the culture of being passive students and their awareness toward the self-responsibility to take charge of their own learning. These psychological factors are necessary to be taken into account since to be autonomous students, they need to realize three basic needs. The first is sense of interest, and second needs of competencies, and the third needs of relatedness. And then the second is social nature of learning. Learning is not an individual private activity, but a social one that depends upon interaction with others. This is in line with the theory of constructivism that people construct knowledge through interaction between what have known and the knowledge or ideas or experience obtained. The movement that reflects this viewpoint is cooperative learning. And some activities that usually used by the teachers to stimulate cooperative learning are a kind of group activities such as team games, tournament, think, talk, write, think, pair, share, jigsaw, STAD, and task-based instruction. This kind of activities stimulate interaction, peer discussion, and positive interdependence between students. And then the third is curricular integration. English is not seen as a standalone subject, but is linked to other subjects in the curriculum. When several subject areas are taught together, students have a greater chance to see the connections between the different subject areas. This idea is commonly found at schools that implement content and language integrated learning, or CLIL, and English for specific purposes. In the teacher's opinion, actually, this is still considered controversy since it still needed a consensus of the main focus of the learner, whether the content or the language used to be emphasized. The other problem is the teacher's content mastery. It seems that an English teacher should master all the subjects just like a primary teacher at elementary school, and from the student's point of view, learning a certain material using full English is a new challenge. At the same time, they have to understand the content and interpret it word by word. Sometimes the requirement of using English becomes a barrier for students to be active. The fourth is focusing on meaning. Meaning here is viewed as the driving force of learning. In accordance with the previous notion on curricular integration, cognitive psychology tells us that the process of learning best takes place when the new information is connected and stored in meaningful chunks. And the use of authentic materials may provide more meaningful learning, but finding the materials that match with the learning target sometimes not easy. Yeah, maybe this is one thing to be evaluated, whether we need to adjust the syllabus
2 more minutes.
or the learning target or the material itself. Most teachers believe that fluency is the main goal of language learning. That's why they put accuracy activities away from the learning process. And they often let the students to speak up without interruption, since too much correction from the teacher will distract the meaningful interaction and withdraw the students from being active. Actually, both accuracy and fluency are important in language learning. Therefore, teachers are suggested to use balance of fluency and accuracy activities, since the use of accuracy activities will support the students' fluency in speaking. It is diversity. Diversity means the unique characteristic of the learners. They learn in different way and have different strengths. To facilitate the diversity, some teachers apply pretest, and the result of this pretest can be used to analyze the students' proficiency level as well as their strength. Teachers usually apply varied learning methods in order to equip students with different learning strategies, and also giving positive reinforcement. This reinforcement sometimes is an effective way to motivate the students to see their unique characteristic as the strength to be developed. And the sixth is thinking skills. Language should serve as a means of developing higher order thinking skills, also known as critical and creative thinking. In terms of language instruction, this means that students acquire language not just for its own purpose, but also so that they can improve and use their critical thinking abilities beyond the language classroom.
Miss Abu.
What the teachers do to stimulate students' critical thinking is, for example,
All right, I'm so sorry that I was too late to know that the presentation is limited only for 15 minutes, and I have made my video. So yeah, if you don't mind, then I can continue in this session directly, or let's go to the discussion.
Maybe we can extend Bu Ani's discussion through our questions, maybe, Bu Ani, or maybe our sharing ideas, especially that to be continued thinking skills explanation there. Like that. So I invite our lovely participants here to ask some questions or maybe discussion, especially we are still befriended with COVID right now, and we have Zoom as our best friend right now. And how do we see that, experience that? You can ask questions verbally, raising your hands, and maybe you can also type questions in the Zoom chat, or maybe you can send some questions personally to Bu Ani's personal room in the Zoom. Seems like I saw Marcelina. Did you raise your hand just now, or did you just give thumbs up?
Only thumbs up,
Okay.
man.
It's okay, no question. I'll be late.
Bu Ani, maybe okay, I'm going to wait for 1 minute, yeah, Bu Ani. Yeah. Actually, I have something to share, yeah, Bu Ani, yeah, like curhatan in Indonesia, right? Okay, we are still open to questions and discussion, ladies and gentlemen. Esther, maybe any questions or any sharing
Okay,
related
so we're
to
waiting
the?
for the question. Let's just continue your curhat.
Okay, it's okay. All right, Bu Ani, yeah. So related to thinking skills, yeah, Bu Ani, yeah. But I believe actually Bu Ani has the answer because we just cut the discussion, yeah, Bu Ani, yeah. As we know, yeah, Bu Ani, yeah, higher order thinking skill. Creating is the top of the top, right, Bu Ani, on the higher order thinking skill. But what I experience, yeah, Bu Ani, yeah, and what I see as a teacher, yeah, when I see some exam questions, especially the multiple options, yeah, Bu Ani, yeah. The creator of the questions claim that, oh, this is higher order thinking skills. But what I understand here is like this, yeah, Bu Ani, yeah. I don't see the creating or the creative parts in that higher order thinking skills claim questions, right? I only see that I think this is only remembering, but the remembering is getting harder, something like that. So with Bu Ani
2
experience,
minutes
yeah,
left.
how do you apply that, the creative or the creating in higher order thinking skills?
Oh, okay. I'll share with my experience, or if I'm not mistaken, you asked about the hot question in the multiple choice question.
Yes, Bu Ani, like that.
Okay. Yeah, actually, in my opinion, for to stimulate thoughts, yeah, in a kind of multiple choice question is when you give material, yeah, when you give the material to the students and then you give question that it's actually not implicitly on what you have explained to your students, but it's it's not explicitly mentioned in the material, but it's more implicit. So it's a kind of higher order thinking skill for students, especially for elementary students. The thinking is still, it's not limited actually, but their creativity is unique. We cannot predict it. Sometimes it's unpredictable. So for example, if you want to make a kind of multiple choice question, but still include HOTS in your question, maybe I suggest that you give a question that's still related to your material, but actually it is the implementation. It's for the implementation.
Sorry,
So
time is
just-
up. We have limited time.
okay. But in when you teach English to teenagers, for example, you can stimulate them to have discussion. So we have space to them to give their opinion, to share their ideas, and then we as the teacher just guide them, to make sure that what they discuss is still in line and still about the target that we will achieve at the end of the class. Something like that. I hope that that's still enough. Sorry.
Thank you, Bu Ani. It's very relatable to me. Thank you very much. All right. That's it, Bu Maria. Thank you very much, Bu Ani. Once again, let's give a big applause for Bu Ani. Thank
You
you. That's
too.
all, Bu Maria.
Right.
You're welcome, Bu.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have finished our parallel session. After this, please kindly leave the breakout room and return to the main room for the plenary session. Thank you very much for the fruitful discussion and have a great day.
Thank you, Bu Maria.
Thank you.